Hey there, this is Karen and I'm your instructor for Creative U Art Lesson Crates. Welcome to our Sugar Skull Alice drawing. We're going to work on this drawing with a regular HB pencil. This one is a 2B. The higher the number, the darker or lighter the lead will be, which means B is black, H is light. So if you have a 2H, it'll be lighter than a 2B. If you have an 8B, it'll be darker than a 2B. And it's a little confusing, but the more you use them, the more you understand the differences in the darkness of these pencils. Why does it matter? Simply because sometimes you want a very faint line that you don't want to see very well. You would want to use a very high numbered H. But sometimes you want a really dark line, something that's just almost black, and you would want a high number B. Now this is called a torchlion or a torch. It's kind of the same basic cardboard that the center of a toilet paper roll would be made out of. It's just rolled into a fine point. Notice that mine has been used a lot. That's not a bad thing. You want that darkness up there. So if it gets dirty, don't stress it. No big deal. We're going to set that aside for now because we're not going to be using it until later. We're going to work on this lovely little lady here. I think she is very pretty. We're going to do the basic sketching on her, but then you can take it to whatever limits you want with the outer drawings. You may also need an eraser, especially if you draw on your paper just like I just did. Some people like erasers. Some people like to work with their accidents and make them turn into something different. Totally up to you. So for the Sugar Skull, she's going to represent Alice from Alice in Wonderland. If you choose at the end to outline her in a Sharpie, you may, it's totally up to you. I will do it, but you do not have to. You'll have nice thick paper. This is a cardstock. It is archival, so it won't yellow as easily through time. White paper tends to yellow, so this will not yellow too easily. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, you'll notice that in our sample, her head is slightly angled, so we're going to want to angle her head as well. So if we give ourselves just a basic little circle to work with, let's see, let me zoom in a touch. Okay, we're going to give ourselves a little circle to work with and draw a line diagonal. That's going to be the angle of her face. Now if you go down here and put a circle at the very bottom, a small one, that will be her chin. Why is that her chin? Because watch this. We're going to follow our circle, curve it down to her chin, curve it up to the circle, and up. And you have just made the really cute little shape that she has. You can erase this as you go. We don't need these lines. And honestly, you don't really need a center line for this part, but it might help you. On that center line, we want to add an arrow. And that arrow is going to point towards the forehead. And at the bottom of that arrow is going to be 3 little bumps. And then we want to give her mouth. We're going to start really far out. Come in under her nose. We're going to kick it up a touch, back down, and out. Why are we kicking it up right there? Because we're going to add a bottom lip and a top lip. Nothing special, nothing detailed. But now we're going to add some stitches. These stitches need to cross below the lip and above the lip. They're stitching her mouth closed. Add however many you want. And at the bottom of her chin, we're going to give her an upside down heart. If you can't draw upside down, turn the paper. Now, if we come out from the mouth, cross the nostrils, that's going to be kind of where we want our eyes to go. I'm going to angle my paper a little bit so I can draw this more straight on. Even though the paper's to the side, I want to see it straight on. So let's give her a big eye, a stretched out frown, stretched out smile. Stretched out frown, stretched out smile. She's looking to the side, so we're going to do a parentheses and a parentheses and a parentheses. Give her a circle. These are the pupil, the iris, and the shine. In order to make something look shiny, you give it a circle or a square or something to look like it's reflecting light. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Try and make it about the same size. Parentheses, parentheses. Go the opposite way, circle, and fill. Remember that your shine needs to be in the same spot on both eyes, or relatively the same spot. We can go ahead and fill in the nose as well, and the upside down heart. Let's outline her eyes with an oval, and you can fill that in as well. This is a sugar skull, so you can add or subtract whatever you want to. It's ornamental. These sugar skulls are designed to honor their deceased loved ones, and so you can be as bright and cheerful or as dark and dreary as you want. Now I'm going to erase these two lines. We don't want those there. Excuse me. Now you want to be careful. Don't rub your fingers across your picture. You're going to make this lead smear. We don't want to smear it yet. Let's give her some eyelashes. Curve, curve. Give her as many as you want. Do it the opposite direction on the other side. Typically, I would not tell you to do spread out perfect little lashes like this, but for her, we want to. And she's got a little ornamental lace going around, and it's just semicircles all the way around. And then finally, for her face decor, actually there's two more things. She has a little swirl, so kick up and down and end with a teardrop. Down and with a teardrop. You can do the same thing on this side. If you can't get it exactly the same, it's okay. The last thing that there are polka dots at the top. Now I'm not doing all the way up here because her hair is going to get in the way. So there we go. We'll add the point of her hair. And this one is going to swoop like that. We can erase any extra lines. Once again, I'm not rubbing all over the place. I don't want to smear my lines. Up here somewhere, let's give her a bow. Let's do a square or rectangle at the top. Let's give it a little bump. We don't want a perfect little bow. We want a little bump. Come up, up, down, down. Okay. The middle needs an up and a down, up and a down. And now we're going to do swoop around, and then we're going to come up a little bit and connect, up a little bit and connect. Now inside here we want to add a little bit of darkness. Same thing underneath. And now let's add her hair. Actually, you know what? Let's skip down here to her neck, and that'll help us with our hair later on. Her hair, or her neck, is even with her heart on her chin. So come down and out. And this one over here is nice and skinny, down and out. So now we can do some hair, some waves. And we could do the same thing over here. This hair needs to pop up a little bit and come down. And this hair needs to pop out a little bit and come down. It's wavy hair. It can go any direction you want it to. Now over here is where we're going to give her some curls and some twists and turns. So somewhere along the bow, let's flare out into a spiral. Come from that spiral, do a little dangle hair. Let's do another coming up. Let's do another spiral. Spiral, bring it back up. Another spiral, bring it back up, and close it off. Not too bad. You can add some darkness in here, wherever you feel that you would overlap. So obviously the neck is overlapping the hair in the back of the head. So we're going to darken this dark area back here. Not stressing too hard over it, just filling it in. Add a little bit up here, because her hair is kind of shadowing her face. Add a little bit up in the hair, wherever you want it. It's just to add a little dimension. I'm going to pretend like this is behind this. If that's the case, then the one that's behind is going to have a little shadow. Same thing here. This is behind this. It could be in front, totally up to you, but if it's behind, it needs some shadow. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take my torch. I'm going to start blending. You're going to hold it kind of to the side and rub. Don't rub where you don't want pencil to go. And you're going to find that this is going to start filling in all of the little white specks. It makes it a little more uniform. So you see, just follow it along. Now with your torch, I want you to follow every pencil line and rub in any bulk area like this. Rub it in. Follow my pencil lines. Follow my pencil line. I'm going to turn around because I don't want to drag my hand through it. Darken her forehead a little. The pressure of your hand will determine how hard it rubs in. So if you really want a good pencil line showing, press hard. You're going to find that your torch is going to really start getting darker and darker, and that's a good thing. You want a nice dark torch because then you can almost use these as a pencil on its own. Now I didn't add any darkness right here, but I think we need a little bit. Outline everything. Add some shadows. And up and around. Okay, so now let's go ahead and work on her little face. Just drag your torch along it. Every pencil line needs to have a shadow. Everywhere you drew. Some people don't like the feeling of a torch. If you don't like it, you can use your finger. Now look, I did not color inside the iris of my eye, but my torch has a lot of pencil on it. So I'm going to color it in and see what it does. It gives it a light gray effect. So once again, color in your iris, I'm sorry, your pupil, then go right on into your iris. And there she is. Super cute. So now we can add additional features on the outside. So let's work on a flower. Now this is not a realistic flower. This is a Wonderland flower. We're going to start off with like a little curvy heart. And then you're going to start anywhere on the outside of that curvy heart, come up, wavy, come in. And right where you came in, come up, wavy, come in. All right. So now we want to do a wavy, for lack of better words, ear, wherever that came in. So let's do an ear and an ear. And let's reverse it. Anywhere there's a seam, let's put a wavy line. There's a seam here. There's a seam there. There's a seam. And look, I left a little gap, so add a little petal. Like I said, they're not realistic. It's okay. We're not going for realism here. It's a sugar skull. You can add nice long leaves if you want. Add some details, some fine details. A couple little swirls if you want. I like cards. I think it's very reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland. So I might do like a Queen of Hearts and add some hearts. Maybe there's another one behind it, which may be the King of Spades, which is an upside down heart. I may want to do another couple of flowers, just the old-fashioned daisies that we used to draw as children. Some leaves. I mean, really, just go to town with this. Add whatever you want to outside of it. You may want a butterfly. Just fill it in. Once you get it the way you want it. And you know what? I just realized that I just drew the butterfly and you didn't see it. So let's do a butterfly up here. Curvy line. Curvy line. Curvy line. Curvy line. Antennas. Spirals. However you want to draw them. Is totally your call. You are the artist. This is the doodle side of it. So now you're going to take your torch and like you did for the skeleton, you're going to follow every pencil line. I sometimes tell my students to do it 3 times for each area. So each time you have a pencil line, do it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See what I'm saying? You get a better blend. Now I am kind of rushing a touch, but I do want you to take your time. I'm just trying to get it done quickly because I know that you're watching, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some fine details after, and I want you to see what I do. Okay. So now I've done the basic blending, and I'm going to zoom in. I want you to focus on what I'm going to do now. So like we have our little shaded flower. Now's the time to go in and do what's called Zentangle. Now, I was about to use pencil, but actually I'm going to switch to my permanent marker because I want to outline some of it. Not all of it, but I'm just adding some darkness. This is going to make it a mixed media picture. Mixed media is just another word for lots of different art supplies in one picture. In art, whatever you use as your art supply, that is your medium. So if you have a mixed media, you have lots of mediums. So I've just roughly thrown in some Sharpie lines in there. So now I can really go in and add some fine details. I may want to add a little bit of hashtagging. Really add detail. You don't have to do all of it. Just add a few little personal touches. If I come down to the spirals, I'm going to angle it a little bit for you so you can see it. Skip. And then maybe I want to add some dots. So you see how you can really personalize it to your own taste. So what I want you to do is go ahead, pause the video, and start adding some details, some fine details to her. And then I will work on mine, and then we'll compare. Does that sound like a good idea? Like right here. I think I'm going to add some circles at the top. Kind of cool, huh? All right, so let's go ahead and pause here, and I want you to just really sink into the fine details. Zentangle it. Add patterns, shapes, anything you want to personalize it. Okay, so I have added some fine details to my Alice. Just some patterns, dots, stripes, just some things to add little personal touches to her. Now the last thing that you're going to want to add is your signature. Always, always, always sign your art. Every artist does. I thank you guys so much for joining me for my Sugar Skull Alice. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I think she turned out pretty darn awesome, if you ask me. She's definitely frame worthy. And if you're not satisfied with your girl right now, practice. That's all it takes, is lots and lots of practice. And if you do like your work, I would love to see her. So please email or text it to me. My direct line, if you have any questions, is 985-381-7012. Or you can email me at Karen@creative.art.com. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.